Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you my favorite way to make a simple leaf. This is going to be just a traditional leaf shape that's almost like a diamond. It goes from small to a big section in the middle and then small at the other end. We're going to be doing some surface crochet to create that middle vein, and then we're going to do some slip stitches around the outside to thicken it up. This shape that I'm going to show you how to make today also works great as a petal. So either as a leaf, if you're doing some kind of floral motif, or if you wanted to, you could definitely turn this into a flower by just making a whole bunch of these in a flower color. All right, so let me tell you what you're gonna need for this. First things first, we're going to need some yarn. I've got about a number 3 weight yarn here. This is a green acrylic. You're also gonna need a crochet hook. I am going to be using a 3.5mm hook today. You'll also need some scissors, as well as a yarn needle to weave in your ends. So gather your supplies and let's jump in. First things first, I'm going to create a slip knot. From here, I'm going to chain 2. There's 1, and there's 2. Now in the second chain from the hook, 1 and 2, I'm going to do a single crochet. Insert the hook into that chain stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. Then chain 1, and then turn. It's a very short row, but you can still turn it. So now we've got a row with just 1 stitch. Now into that stitch right here, we're gonna put 2 single crochets. So I'm going to insert into that first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops, insert into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. And now we've got a row that has 2 stitches, 1 and 2. Then we'll chain 1, and turn the work. Still a super short row. But now in that first stitch, we're gonna put 2 single crochets. There's 1, and there's 2. And now into the second stitch of the row, we're gonna put 2 single crochets in there. There's 1, and there's 2. And now you can see we're kind of increasing outward and creating a little triangle right now. Now I'll chain 1, and turn, and again in the first stitch here we're going to do 2 single crochets. There's 1, and there's 2, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch, except in the last stitch we'll put 2 single crochets. So there's 3 left in the row here, so I'll put 1 single crochet in the next stitch. There it is. 1 single crochet in the stitch after that. And then in the last stitch of the row here, I will put 2 single crochets. There's 1, and there's 2. And now we can chain 1 and turn. And now you can see that triangle. Now we're at the widest part of the leaf. For this next row, we're just going to do a row of single crochets across. So we're not going to do 2 in the first stitch or the last stitch here. Just 1 single crochet in each stitch across. So this is just for the leaf that is the size I'm doing. If you wanted to do it as a bigger leaf, you could continue with more increases. It is totally up to you. Here I am at the end of that row. I will chain 1 and turn, and then in the next row, I'm going to do a single crochet across row again. So 1 single crochet in each stitch across, no increases in this row. And here I am at the end of the row. At the end of the row, I will chain 1 and turn. Now you can see our triangle goes up to its widest point, and then it goes straight for 2 rows. Now we're going to bring that triangle back down to create the leaf shape. And to do that, we're gonna start here with single crochet 2 together. Let me zoom you all the way in. So for a single crochet 2 together, we're going to insert into the first stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. Then into the second stitch, we'll insert the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop. And now you can see we've got our first loop, our second, and our third. Then we'll yarn over and pull through all 3. That's a single crochet 2 together. Then we'll single crochet across the row, but we're going to leave the last 2 stitches because we're going to do single crochet 2 together for these last 2 stitches. So I will insert into the second last stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then insert into the last stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Then I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now you can start to see the leaf is tilting back inward. For this next row, we are going to single crochet across one time in each stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll chain 1 and turn. Now in this next row, we're going to do the decrease again. So we're going to single crochet 2 together. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Then the next 2 stitches are the second last and last stitch of the row. And we're doing a single crochet 2 together there as well. So yarn over, pull up a loop, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. And then we'll do a chain 1 and turn. At this point, that leaf shape is starting to show. You can see how it's sort of looking a lot more leaf shaped now. So in this next row, we're just going to do single crochet across, which is a short row, just 2 stitches in the row. And then we'll chain 1 and turn. And now in this next row, we're going to single crochet 2 together. Insert into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert into the last stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Then we'll chain 1 and turn. And now there's a row with just 1 stitch, and we'll do a single crochet in that stitch. And then we're going to chain 1 and turn, and one more time we're going to do a single crochet in that stitch. And now we have our leaf shape, or at least we have the base part. Now let me show you how we're going to create that center spine in the leaf and how we're going to outline it. Again, if you wanted to do this in a larger shape, if you wanted to make a larger leaf the same way, you could continue those increases as far as you want and then just work up straight a couple rows and then work the same number of decreases. It's the same no matter how big you want the leaf to be. All right, now that we've made it to the top of the leaf, let me show you how to put that spine in. All right, so this is where we're going to be doing some surface crochet. We're going to insert the hook into the work as close to the center as you can. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull a loop up. I'm going to pull that loop through the last stitch of our work. Then I'm going to pull the work apart. I'm going to insert the hook. Again, 1 row down, but as close to the center as I can. Then I'll yarn over and pull up a loop, and then I'll pull that loop through the work. You can see this is starting to create some surface crochet here. Then again, in the middle, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull that loop through. And I'm just trying to keep it as centered as possible. Sometimes it doesn't go exactly in the center, and that's okay. But I'm just going to do surface crochet like this. Every time I go to a new row, I'm kind of pulling the work apart to figure out where the hook should go, and then I'm pulling it through both loops. Insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull the loop through. See? And now I've got this spine going down the middle of my leaf. I'm just going to do that all the way down until I get to the bottom end, the bottom tip of the leaf, the stem end. And we're almost there. Last one. Perfect. And now in the last space, our actual first chain stitch here, where we did our slip stitch, I'm going to insert into that last loop, yarn over and pull that through both. And now you can see we have created a center spine for our leaf. Very cute. Now let's work the stem and the outline. So at this point, we are at the stem side of the work. I'm going to do a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then in the second chain from the hook, 1 and 2, I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull a loop through for a slip stitch. And then I'm going to slip stitch down that chain until I'm back at the work. And this little slip stitched row will be our stem. All right, I've made it back to my work now. And now it's time for us to do our slip stitch border. Let me zoom you in. Now to smooth out this edge of the leaf so that it looks a little bit less like a bunch of crocheted rows and more smooth, we're going to slip stitch around the whole outside. So I'm going to insert my hook in the first stitch of every row, and I'm going to do a slip stitch in that stitch. So insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull the loop through the previous stitch. Insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through the previous stitch. And I'm just going to slip stitch all the way to the tip of the leaf. And I will meet you when I get to the tip to show you what I'm gonna do to make sure it stays nice and pointy, like the tip of a leaf should, and how we're going to get back down to the stem. So I will see you when we get there. Here I am doing my last stitch at the top of the leaf. You can see my beautiful slip stitches here. And now I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then I'm gonna slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, just to create a little picot in order to keep the top of the leaf pointy. Then I'm going to slip stitch back down the side of the work in the first stitch of each row. They're a little bit tight at the top, that's all right, but I am just going to work my way down the side of this leaf with my slip stitches until I get back to the beginning, and I will meet you there to show you what we're gonna do next to finish this off. All right, I made it back down to that stem end. I'm just gonna put my last slip stitch in here right where the stem begins, and then I'm gonna cut my yarn and pull that last stitch through. And now I'm going to weave in one of the ends. I think I might weave in both for this one because this applique is done. Now let's talk about it. Ta-da! And just like that, the easiest little leaf is finished. I love this shape when I'm doing little flower appliques, or even when I'm doing some kind of like hanging vine. I've done this before for hanging vine, like home decor. I don't even know what I call it. It hangs on my fireplace mantle and these individual leaves hang off of it. I just think this is such an easy way to create that leaf shape. It's super adjustable if you wanted to make something more like diamond shape, or if you wanted to round it out, you just kind of change the number of rows that you're doing the increases and decreases. But I think by adding that slip stitched spine, it creates just a little bit of an extra detail that to me takes this to the next level. It elevates it beyond just like a flat applique and creates just a little bit more movement. And I feel like you can shape them just to create, I don't know, they just look a little bit more realistic as leaves, and I really like them. So I really hope you try these out, and I hope that you can make something with them. Maybe you can put these on a pair of earrings and just have a pair of dangling earrings, or maybe you make a whole bunch of these and cover a shawl so that it looks like you are Mother Nature. Or maybe you use them with some flowers that you crocheted to create that little extra detail of having leaves with them. Whatever you end up doing, I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I do hope you give it a shot. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everyone who has been so patient with me. I have taken a couple of weeks off from making tutorials. I really appreciate you guys. Just been really busy, but I'm back, starting with something sweet and simple. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button. If you would like to find ways to support the channel, check the links in the description box down below. We are on our way to 100,000 subscribers, and I would love to have you join. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye!